Hey guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to watch today's video. And you guys hear me talking about March a lot. If you watch my 3 YouTube channels, I'm always talking about how good a month of March is for catching fish, especially big ones. And there's a lot of different ways you can catch good fish in March. There's probably 20 different ways that, that work really good. But there's one that I want to talk about in today's video that a lot of people don't do in March because they think it's a little early. And that's fishing a square bill crankbait, specifically this Megabass S-Crank 1.5. We're going to talk about this today, and I want to give you guys a bunch of tips and advice on this bait because this thing catches big fish in the month of March if you got the right water conditions. So I'm going to lay that out in detail, sort of give you guys some good advice on what to look for, and I definitely think it's going to add up to some good fish for y'all. And also, guys, I'll have the Megabass S-Crank 1.2 in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to order a couple of them, you can use that link there. So really appreciate that. And also, guys, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, all you have to do is just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat, shoot me a private message, and I do most of my lessons here on Table Rock Lake in Stockton, Missouri. We cover any technique you want to learn about, so shoot me a message. Appreciate that. Okay, guys, here it is, Megabass S-Crank 1.2. I have caught so many 4 to 5 pound bass on this bait in the month of March. It's absolutely ridiculous since it came out. And I want to lay out a little bit about how you want to use it and where you want to use it at when this thing works good, because a lot of people fish, like wiggle warts and rock crawlers and spinner baits, and a lot of them are good, but you don't really hear about people fishing a square bill in March. They think it's more of a warmer water bait or when the water temperature gets closer to 60 or 70 degrees. But this is the one right here, guys, I want to clue you in on. Now, there's 2 different colors that you need to have. If you go to that Tackle Warehouse link, just get you some type of a crawdad pattern. There's one called the E2, I think that's a good one. You need one type of crawdad pattern like this, reddish or crawdad looking, and then the black back with the chartreuse side, old school black back chartreuse side. These are the 2 basic colors you need. Although I have caught them on different colors, these are probably my 2 favorites. But get you a couple of those there, put them on 12-pound test, Seaguard Vizex fluorocarbon line or whatever fluorocarbon you're using, and some type of just a medium action bait cast rod. That's the setup with it, because you want to use the 12-pound line to get this bait down deeper, and how I'm going to describe it to you. Okay, here is the scenario where the square bill will catch you some big fish. First of all, you got to have water temperatures in the mid-50s. That 54 to 57 degree range is ideal. You might catch a few on either side of it, a little warmer, a little cooler, but when I see my temperature gauge say 55 degrees in March, this is the bait that I pick up right here. In correlation with that, you got to have just the right water visibility. Not only do you have to have mid-50s water temperature, but you need to have water visibility that's anywhere between 10 to 15 inches of water visibility. About, just about like that to about like that, something like that. Something like this would be about perfect. 10 to 15 inches visibility with that. That is going to position those fish to be caught on the S-Crank 1.5 as far as the depth range, because this bait on 12-pound test Seaguard Vizex on a long cast, you're going to get it down about 5 feet. So when you have that combination of water clarity and water temperature, it's going to put those fish in 3 to 5 foot, which is targeting for this bait right here. One of the reasons this thing works really good, it's got a really unique wobble to it. It hunts a little bit side to side like that, but it doesn't have a real wide wobble. It's got like a nice medium wobble to it, and they just like that wobble in the profile combination. So that's what you want to look for. And then the next thing you got to have, it's a rock deal. Specifically rock. I don't catch too many on it around grass. I don't catch very many on it around wood. I want a rocky bank, some type of a rocky bank that has some proximity to deeper water. You can catch them on a steep rock bank, and they can be a flatter rock bank, but you need to have some type of a closeness to deeper water to make it a pre-spawn staging area. Those fish that time of year, they don't like to move way up on flat banks that don't have a lot of deep water next to it. My favorite type of a deal is some type of a channel swing rock transition in the upper part of a creek or a river. So let's say, for example, you pick out a major creek, go about halfway back into that creek and get on the steepest side of the creek, the steepest bank in that creek, parallel this thing, get your boat about 5 foot off the bank and make long casts parallel to that rocky bank with just a medium stop and go retrieve, trying to hit the rock. So you want to keep this bait in 3 to 5 foot of water in order to do that. You're not going to catch a lot of fish if you're not bouncing the bottom on it. It deflects really good. It comes across the bottom really good. You don't hardly ever get hung up. But my favorite thing is, like, if I got a long section of rocky bank where I can just put the trolling motor down and cover water, that's when I caught the best bags of fish doing this. Long stretches of riprap are also good. Any type of a steeper rocky bank. I've caught them on gravelly type banks too, if the gravel banks drop off in a little bit deeper water. But guys, there's something, it's one of those things that we don't understand about bass fishing. It's a combination of the profile and the wobble, the water displacement in correlation with the water clarity and the temperature that makes this just a great bait to catch big fish on in the month of March. I'll give you guys one example here. I don't know if a lot of you guys have fished Beaver Lake before, but back about probably, I don't know, this has been 15 years ago or so, Beaver Lake, a 20-pound bag was extremely rare on the lake. I mean, it's like you never saw a 20-pound bag in tournaments. Most of the time, the first place in the tournament would be 16 or 17 pounds. I was down there in the middle of March practicing for an FLW tournament, throwing the S-Crank 1.5 that just came out. And the second day of practice down there, I caught 5 fish that would have weighed probably 24, 25 pounds on the S-Crank at Beaver Lake, which would have been a biggest limit I would have ever heard caught down there. And we had exactly those conditions. Now, what happened in the tournament is the water cleared up way too much. It's like the water visibility when I caught that big bag was about 1 foot. And by the first day of the tournament, and it was on the upper part of a river section, by the first day of the tournament, all that dirty water had flowed down through the system, and there was like 3 foot of visibility on my banks, and they just wouldn't bite it. Water was too clear. So anyway, guys, pick you up a few. Tackle Warehouse link in the description. When that water gets 55 degrees, and if you got some rocky banks, throw this sucker around there. You'll catch some big fish on it. So hope it helps. We'll talk later.